Hello, and welcome to the Table and Well podcast. I'm Tennison.
And I'm Ginelle. Thank you for joining us as we discuss topics and give practical tools that help you live, grow, and be in healthy, joy-filled relationship with God, yourself, and others.
For more information and resources, or if you're looking for coaching, connection, and community, visit tableandwell.org. We hope you enjoy this podcast. You are listening to Fingerprints, how God is transforming the relational health of His family. All throughout this series, you will hear transformational stories from everyday people just like you. But what if this transformation isn't just for them? What if it's for you too? I want to let you know that it is for you as well. And that's why we've created Relational Collabs, intentional spaces where this type of transformation becomes real. These are small, safe communities where you will practice the skills that will help you grow and build joy, rebuild your trust, enable you to stay present in the middle of hard moments, help you deeply connect to God, yourself, and others, and experience the authentic connection that your heart was designed for. See, this is more than just another class or a book study or even a Bible study. This is real life. This is hands-on. This is heart-connected, and it's changing lives. If you're tired of disconnection, and if you're longing for something more, don't just listen to these stories, become one. For more information, or to join our fall collabs starting in September, go to tableandwell.org/collabs. You were never meant to walk this journey alone. And your healing is part of how God is leaving His fingerprints in the transformation of the relational health of His family. Hello, and thank you for joining us today on the Table and Well podcast. We are still in our series, Fingerprints, how God is transforming the relational health of His family. And as we have gone through this series, we've talked to some really incredible people, some authors, pastors, leaders, everyday people that are seeing the relational health of God's family change and wanting to just share where they're seeing His fingerprints move. And today is no different. We are blessed to be graced. Wow, that was great. This is all going to stay in the podcast too. Even when I screw up, it's the best things to stay in there. So it's
blessed to be graced.
Blessed to be graced. You like that?
Agree.
Kind of keep going with that.
Yeah.
Very, very churchy.
I know. That's why I stopped. I'm like, what is happening?
Yeah.
We are honored to be graced, I'm going to say that, with the presence of two guys that we've had the pleasure of getting to know over the last really year.
Yeah.
And they've gone through our Relational Collabs. We have been to their church up in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, to do our immersion with them, our workshop. And we're super excited that Chris Frost and Des Belford are here with us. Guys, we're so glad that you're here. Thank you for joining us today on the podcast.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
All right. So we're just going to jump right in. We've got some questions. We're going to have a really good conversation today. And I'm excited for our listeners to hear just your personal journeys and then how you guys are seeing the relational health of God's family change in just your personal lives and in your church and the different places that you guys have influence and are connected in. So thank you again for being here.
Yes.
Yeah.
So where did this all begin for you guys? We have met you at one point of your journey, and you found us through a friend. So tell us a little bit about this. What brought you on your own personal journey of relational health? Chris, if you want to start.
Yeah, for sure. I think I did, prior to becoming a pastor, I did school down at Bethel in Redding, California. And I think that's where it started for me, and learning some tools on relational health and heart health. But then when I became a pastor, I used those tools in my pastoring and tried to teach them to as many people as possible. But there was still a gap. And so when I discovered Table and Well and some of the tools that you guys use, I saw how it bridged that gap. And they're just simple tools, simple practices like the check-in, being present with people, your definition of joy, like the deep knowing that someone is glad to be with me no matter what. It took some of the tools that I had and put some different language to it and made it accessible to everybody. Because the tools I learned were coaching tools, and not everyone wants to be a coach, and not everyone is a great coach.
Everyone wants to be coached.
Everyone wants to be exactly. Everyone wants to be coached, but I'm like, okay, well, how do we get this en masse to everybody? And that was huge, because it's like, oh, anyone can sit with someone and listen. Actually, that's not true. They can learn those skills of sitting with someone to listen as they grow in relational maturity.
That's good.
Right? Where they can stop themselves and not just jump in and have to fix someone or put the Jesus Band-Aid on and pray for someone. It's like, oh, and so that's been huge. And so it's been a journey of knowing that there's something out there.
Yeah.
But then when we got access to Table and Well and really started to dive into what you guys do and what you teach, seeing how that could really help our entire church.
Mm-hmm. That's cool. I love that. I love that you said everybody can sit down and be present. Wait.
Wait, let's think about that.
Because it is so simple, right? It's not a complex thing, but boy, oh boy, it's hard when we don't have the skills in place.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how about you, Des? What started you on your journey?
Well, same thing. I think, coming into the church, I've always been kind of a pastoral kind of guy, but it was probably more so when I first came on staff as a pastor. I just noticed some gaps in our church specifically, but in the body as a whole, on how to restore sons. Like as people walk through things and they, grenade their life in some form or shape. It's like, how do we restore these people? What's the avenue for the way back? And a lot of that, you have to clean up messes in relationship, right? And so that really started me on the journey for my own self, because I don't want to just learn something for someone else if it's not applicable to myself. And you can't learn relationship without actually being personal. And so that's how it started for us, right? It started for us in our family, this whole process, because, we had to walk through that. And so, that's how we started going through, and then just moving on forward, just piece by piece, just finding new tools and just not being satisfied with what Frosty was saying there about, there's the coaching side of things, and there's that kind of Band-Aid, but it's like, how do we just keep encouraging in a bigger model, like encouraging people to be mature, be relational, be, and also emotionally healthy.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of new to church to some degree, right? And so that's our journey.
Yeah, I love that, because what you said there, Des, is that it started with you and it started with your family, and it started, in that space, because I think that's something, I know that's something that's also really important for us too, is that, like, we don't want to just put something out there. And I know for you too, Chris, you don't want to just put something out there and share something that is not, that you haven't experienced or you haven't, applied to your own life. And where you haven't seen these transformations and different things, even within your family or yourself, and then we're like, well, we're just going to learn it so we can teach everybody else. Even though it's funny, because that's how our minds work. Like, when we'll hear things and we're like, oh, that's really good. We need to figure out how to share that with the world. But then we have to come back and say, well, how do we embody this thing first? And then we can push it out there to the world. And so, I think that's really, really important. So really, in saying that too, I'm curious for you guys on this journey, how have you seen how you guys relate to your family, your friends, like just the way you show up in your own circle, your sphere of influence? What have been some of the big changes or the transformation that you've seen in your everyday life as you guys have been going on this journey to relational health?
Go for it.
Yeah. It's interesting. Like, especially going through the collabs, and, as I'm learning something, and walking through that. And I think I think we talked about this before. One of the biggest takeaways for me when I went through the collabs was, for me, was awareness.
Right? Yeah. Yep.
So I became aware of what I needed, especially joy. Like that I still think back to that as like a core memory for me.
I love it. Yeah.
right? And so, yeah. And so when awareness came, it really, I really started being intentional with how I interacted with like my kids or my wife. And then them seeing that, that transformation in that as
Mm-hmm.
well.
Mhm.
So yeah, so it's just being present and being holding space. And then they're like, I see this change in you. Now we want to see that change. And
Yeah.
it's kind of, it's shifted kind of how we do the culture in our home.
Mm-hmm.
And then of course in the pastor church setting, um, I mean, yeah, it just continues to bring this stuff. I'm always referencing the joy scriptures. I'm always referencing like trust cycles and like satisfaction and like, cause like it's just because it's just become second nature now. Like
Yeah.
I'm aware of it. I want others to be aware of it, and so and bringing them into that awareness. And I'm sure we'll get to it a little later, but I've started to see some really cool patterns when we start talking about like church growth, or not church growth, but like how it's impacting the church and through people.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some really cool stuff happening. So
Yeah, I'm
That's
excited
cool.
to get to that. I want to preface this too for you, Chris. I want you absolutely for you to answer this question, but I also know that like you alluded to it, but you've been on this journey way before Table and Well, and there's a lot of different things that you have implemented in your own family already. And so I want you to speak to that as well. Just like, you know, just your journey, with your family and your kids and before coming upon what we do. Um, Obviously, yes, implementing some of the things that we do and you know, what you've already done, but even your growth with your family, like from starting your family to today, like how have you seen as you've grown in relational health? How have you seen um, just the connection between you and your wife and you and your kids?
Mhm. Yeah, that's a good question. I think, well, I think it goes back to what you were talking about before, that when you learn a new tool, um, oftentimes it's like, great, I see how this can apply to everybody else, but
Yeah.
it doesn't actually really work until you apply it to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the best thing and the worst thing about doing stuff like this is because you realize, oh shoot, a lot of these issues that I thought were someone else's are actually mine, and I have to deal with my own heart and my own internal
Yeah.
world and my
Yep.
own emotional immaturity, and so it just the more you dive into it and the more aware you are, like Des was saying, the more it brings those things up. And so,
Yep.
like before learning those tools, I've seen that with my wife where there's different issues that were for sure her issues that she had to deal with until I started to learn about how my own heart was working and how I was trying to get my needs filled from her behavior. And it's like, you need to change your behavior to give me what I need.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, oh no, I need to get what I need from Jesus. And look at this problem goes away. Right.
Yeah.
I think a big thing, well, that you guys talk about that we mentioned before is the whole aspect of joy. Like I alluded to, I did some coach training, and that idea, what I used to say in coach training was, when we would train workshops and stuff, is no unsolicited advice. And it's the same idea with joy. Like someone is just glad to be with you no matter what.
Yeah.
And I can remember, because prior to this, I had a coaching business, and I would always ask at the end of a conversation, like, what was most helpful? And people would say, you know what, just having someone to process with, just having someone to discuss things with was awesome. I'm like, really? Like you paid me to just sit here. Like that
Yeah.
doesn't seem like enough. Until I started getting coached on a regular basis myself. I'm like, wow, this is really great. This is
Mm-hmm.
amazing.
Yeah.
And so how, since learning that definition of joy, and even just some of the check-in questions, like how can I be there, best be there
Mm-hmm.
for you, right? Do you want prayer? Do you want me to listen to God with you? Are you wanting advice? Did you just want to share that?
Mm-hmm.
Like that's been huge in just leading as a pastor, because
Yeah.
people come to you with problems all the time. Like after service, I know Dad can attest to this. It happened yesterday. Yesterday was a Sunday. And
Yep.
someone that I've never met, they don't even tell me their name. They're like, "Here's my problem." I'm like, "Oh, hi, I'm Chris. What's your name? Nice to meet you." Right? And
Yep.
and it's just so helpful to have those tools of how can I best be there for you. I remember when I first learned that, and my brother-in-law had called me up. I don't even remember what the problem was, and I said, "Well, what can I best like? How can I best support you in this? Do you want me to pray? Did you just want to share? Like, do you want some advice?" And he's like, oh, like just you asking that question is huge. Like you
Yeah.
didn't try to just jump in with what you thought I needed.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, yeah, so what do you need?
Yeah. What do you
Right?
need? Yeah.
Yeah.
And he just had to sit back. But that's a big thing because we are so good at just jumping in and assuming we know what someone needs.
Yeah.
And that's not relational. That's right. Me taking control of the situation. And I think especially as pastors and leaders or parents, or spouses or whoever, we can do that, right? Because it's easy. It's harder to take the relational route because it takes longer. And
Yeah.
it means
That's
that
good.
I can't control this scenario anymore. And we, I think as a culture, are uncomfortable with emotion. And so that's a big thing to just someone, here's a big, here's my problem. And what we want to do is either, oh, I'm going to take that on myself, or gross, get rid of that. Let me Band-Aid that. And I think I know how to fix you.
Right.
Versus, okay, I'm not afraid of that. Like I'll sit with you in that. And that's huge. That's huge in every area of life. And you guys do an amazing job of teaching people how to do that and the skills of how to do that, right? It's not just, oh, they gave me this problem and wow, that's gross. We'll sit here with that. It's like, no. Here, let me help you. Let me help you through that the best way that you need to be helped through that.
It's good.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think there's some pressure off in that too, even just in that question. We feel under so much pressure as receivers or listeners of problems that we've got to do something about that. Like we make ourselves instantly responsible. And in an attempt to like relieve our own pressure or our own fear, maybe even of how do I respond? Having those basic questions of what do you need gives us both an opportunity to make an agreement that we're going to work on this together and that no one's assuming here.
Yeah. And that's just it. And there's such freedom in that because now it's oftentimes it's like, okay, I come to you with my problem to make it your problem so I don't have to deal with it. And it's like, no, it's your problem. I'll be with you in this, but it's still yours to deal with. And that's okay. And it's going to take some time. No problem. I'll be here with you through the process, but I'm not taking on your problem.
Right.
And
it's a game changer.
It's a game changer. And it's so freeing because it's like, I don't have to have all the answers. Like I can let God be God and I can just be me in this situation.
Right. Yep.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Yeah. Huge pastor or huge tool for a pastor in particular.
Yeah.
And parents as well.
Yeah.
Des, any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of the same. I was thinking of a scenario, within not only my family but also in church family. It's just that question of what do you need, what's your ask, that just it just derails the complaining, but all of a sudden just makes it all of a sudden, oh right, like you're actually in this with me, and second questions. Yeah, it's all just so beneficial, right? I mean, and just changing, again, allowing God to be God, introducing Jesus into that situation, but also recognizing that partnership, like, there's the God side of that equation of the partnership, and then there's also our personal responsibility into that partnership of solving those things. We're in this community to make each other better, So, that's pretty rad.
What if your relationships could change? Most of us were never taught how to do relationships well. See, when you were younger, you were told to be kind, to be nice, to play with others, to share. And then as you got older, you were told you need to listen better, you need to communicate more, and you need to share your emotions and your feelings with other people around you. But the thing is, you were never taught how to do any of those. And because you were never taught, you're all grown up, and you feel disconnected, you feel lost, and you feel alone. So here at Table and Well, we have developed Relational Collabs. Our signature training is a 24-week guided experience that will teach you practical, simple, and powerful tools and skills that are proven to bring joy, healing, and connection to your most treasured relationships. And the beauty of these labs is that you don't have to do this alone. You will gather online weekly with a community of people that are walking through and are on the same journey that you are. This is a safe place for you to learn, for you to grow, for you to share, and for you to practice these skills that you're going to be learning. See, in community is where true transformation and true growth actually happens. So whether you're married, whether you're parenting, or whether you're finding your way through this world solo, knowing how to do relationships is everything. You can grow, you can change, and you can relate differently to those around you. If this is your moment to change everything, we would love to walk this journey with you. We have 2 opportunities for transformation this fall. Mondays at 8 p.m. or Wednesdays at 11 a.m. Relational collabs begin the week of September 15th. You can go to tableandwell.org/collabs to register today. At Table and Well, we are bringing relationships back to life. I think one of the big pieces in that, I think that what that does, and Chris, you alluded to it with your brother, is that it creates safety for everybody involved.
Yeah.
When you ask that question, because it's like, like you said, and we've all experienced it. Whenever we've asked that question, sometimes you can see the almost relief on people's face, but relief and utter horror because they don't know what they need and they have to figure it out because they're like hoping that someone just gives it to me.
Right.
But you've really created safety in that space because you're like, okay, like how can I best care for you? What can I do today to walk alongside you in this space? And again, like you said with your brother, he was like, just you asking that question has put me off of edge, and it's given us the freedom to know exactly what we need to do to help them in that space. And it creates safety. And I think it also creates, I haven't thought about this before, but it really creates a level playing field, so to speak, to where, when you have people, because you guys are pastors, we were pastors, we still are pastors in just a different venue capacity, but people tend to put pastors on this pedestal where they come to you looking for all the solutions, and they do it unknowingly sometimes. And the ability to just say, how can I best care for you in this? What do you need? They're not all of a sudden it goes from them expecting something specific from someone, but they're like, oh, wait, you're with me in this thing. And you're not just going to impose your will on whatever you think the situation
or give me the answers.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it also really helps us stay as servants, right? Like, what is it? I just picture a really humble, like even posture in that question of I'm actually here to serve you and to care for you, not to lord over you or to be your problem solver or solution bearer. I like that idea of level playing field where it just shifts some of that hierarchical mistruth.
Well,
Because we
and I
don't
think
have the answers.
no, that's exactly right. And it helps redirect people back to Jesus.
Yes.
Right.
Which is what our job is as pastors, but oftentimes we feel like we have to have all the answers. So and then that creates this cycle of people continually coming to us instead of to Jesus.
Right.
No, we want you to go to Jesus.
Right.
Go to him. He has all the answers.
Yeah. But I also love about this approach too. It's not like go away and go to him. It's like,
that's
hey,
right.
let's go to him together. Like let's create space to talk to him about this. And not because I can connect with him better than you can. I'm just going to be with you as you connect with him. Let's set the table for that. Yeah.
And I think it also helps, like, if we're speaking to pastors and leaders, they know that there's often those emotionally needy people, those people that always come to you after a service, or those people that always have a problem. And now it's a tool, and it's like, I don't have any more answers for you. I don't have anything left to give you. Like, great, it's not up to you. It's what do they need? And I can do any of those things, right? I can pray with you. I can listen to Jesus with you. I can, hey, you just wanted to share? Thanks for sharing. Awesome. And I've done that. And that's been hugely freeing, again, as a leader and pastor, for those types of people, because it's like they maybe have never had someone that is glad to be with them, because they come as needy. Everyone's like, oh, it's that guy. I'm gonna look the other way. I'm gonna avoid. And they never have someone that's glad to be with them.
Yeah.
And so it's like, okay, it must be the pastor's job to be glad to be with me, but now I actually have tools to do that.
Yeah.
And I can think of one guy in particular that I've seen growth in, just small incremental growth, but because I know he comes to both Des and I regularly, and we don't just shoo him away.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that's hard with relationships is it takes time. We want the
Mhm.
quick fix and
Right.
get it right away, but relationships take time.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, I think even when you're in the relational space and you're aware of things, and this becomes the normalcy of your culture, like what I've seen is just, I think sometimes when you don't have an outlet or there's that immaturity or like, we talk about RCs being offered to him, right?
Mhm.
There's like this culturally acceptable thing where people have to complain about the problem or the need without actually needing it. But when we start living in this awareness of wanting to be in a relationship with people, glad to be with people, it does, like, the whining goes away. Like, maybe, but it becomes but it's like when people come to you, they know that's like, I can just be like, that
Yeah.
safe. It's like the victim, the me, the oh poor me, like, that goes away. That's not the culture anymore. The culture is, hey, I know that you're going to hold my heart, and I know that I can hold your heart, and it's reciprocal.
That's
And
good.
like, we're in this together. And so, yeah, like, I've just started even seeing changes in just the vocabulary or culture of conversation in those things, just by being aware and holding space.
Mhm.
But you have to stick it through, because it's not like I do it once and
Right.
it
Right.
happens. It's
Right.
Right.
months of doing
Time.
that, and that's hard on yourself, right?
Right.
Yeah.
But I hope this isn't jumping ahead, but that's the benefit of also having what you guys taught us is called mutually beneficial relationships, right? Is that the term?
Mutually
Where-
satisfying.
Satisfying, sorry, mutually satisfying relationships where you have that peer-to-peer connection that, okay, I'm not looking at that from this person.
That's great.
I have this, Des and I are friends, and we have a mutually satisfying relationship where we can go for coffee or hang out, and our families hang out, and it's like, oh, this doesn't feel like work. This isn't hard. Great.
Right.
So now I'm full. So when I go into those situations, I have something to give.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Those mutually satisfying relationships are key in the way that there's an equal give and take. Sometimes they're unequal because life can throw us curveballs and we need more help than maybe we need on an average day. And those mutually satisfying relationships are great places to pull from.
Yeah.
But we are for each other, and our investment is into each other, not just for our own benefit. And that does allow us to show up in spaces where maybe more is needed from us, and we're more in a pouring out scenario than we are in a receiving scenario. So,
Yeah.
yeah. So, Des, back to what you were talking about this idea of different behaviors that we see. Those are attention-seeking behaviors, because we all want to be seen, known, and heard. That is the longing of every single human being. And when that has been absent in our lives, we will develop all kinds of things to still find a way to get that need met. Which then often creates more challenges in relationships. We can see this in our marriages. We can see this in our church relationships. We can see this in our children. We're just like, this creates some tension in our attempt to have a relational interaction. And you're right. The only way to change that attention-seeking behavior is for people to know that they can have an opportunity to be seen, heard, and known on a regular basis, that's available always around them. And that's even back to those mutually satisfying relationships, Chris. Like I know I have on tap a place that if I need to be seen, heard, and known today, that I can call up this person. And that begins to change my behavior, that those attention-seeking behaviors begin to change, because I don't need to go out of my way to get people to pay attention to me and meet that need. So, but as Chris, you continue to say, like, none of this changes overnight. But if we have environments that this exists in, then we all begin to change together. And then when we think about what the church is meant to be, like, that's an invitation to the world of a place that you really can be seen, known, and heard, and belong, and feel safe, and begin to grow and change.
You've been listening to the Table and Well podcast. New episodes stream every Tuesday. If you have enjoyed this podcast, please leave us a review to let us know. Also, subscribe on your favorite listening platform to stay up to date on all things Table and Well. To learn more, start your journey, or get information on how Table and Well can help develop your community, family, or teams to be relationally healthy and authentically connected, please go to tableandwell.org/collab to schedule an interest call, or you can email us directly at known@tableandwell.org.